I'm Seth Rudetsky.
And I'm Jack Plotnick.
And we co-wrote the musical Disaster. And we just visited Tucson Magnet High School to watch their production and give a masterclass, and it was amazing.
Tucson High is in Tucson, Arizona, and we're a very poor school in a poor part of town, and our students have more heart than you could ask for. They come in here, and I know Seth and Jack saw this, they come in here with so much desire and so much love of the craft. In the 70s, and I grew up as a movie buff, loving disaster movies, and I said, oh my God, I have to do this show. It is absolutely one of my favorite shows I have ever done in my life, as a director or as an actor.
If you don't know what Disaster is, it's a musical that we co-wrote. It's an homage to all those amazing disaster movies from the 70s and even some of the modern day ones. And it's basically every concept of a disaster movie, but done very comedically. And every single disaster from those disaster movies is in this musical. For instance,
let's see, we got an earthquake,
tidal wave, piranhas, sharks, rats. Don't give it away. And every single song from the musical was a hit song from the 70s. And what's cool is that all the kids that we saw today in Tucson, they knew kind of half the songs, because these songs are always done still on American Idol, they're done on The Voice, they're classic songs.
And all of them are used to forward the plot.
Yeah, I've done a lot of Broadway shows, and a lot of jukebox musicals I found would sort of shoehorn songs in just because they like the song. We made sure that every single song fit perfectly and every single lyric fit perfectly. And I think it does.
And the fun thing for the audience is that they're watching the show, and all of a sudden some music starts, and then when the person starts singing, there's this wonderful aha moment.
That's how they're gonna make it work. Yeah, it's very fun.
I feel like even if the kids didn't know the songs are so fun, and like hearing something new that you haven't heard before is even better than probably hearing a song that you've heard all the time.
The songs fit within the plot, so it's not like you have to know the song in order to enjoy it. Like you could just watch the show not knowing any of the songs and still enjoy it. And then you could be like an older person and like have nostalgia because like your childhood is on stage, you know?
Yeah. It was something that the kids could enjoy, but I think parents really, really enjoyed it because of the nostalgia piece of having 70s music as the, centerpiece of the show.
What was great working with these kids is that kids love doing comedy. We kind of based this comedy on the shows we grew up with, I Love Lucy and The Carol Burnett Show, but nowadays kids watch, Mindy Kaling, and they watch Tina Fey and Saturday Night Live, and basically all humor is the same. Really, what we try to work with these kids is that all humor has to come from truth. And if they're acting like it's really happening, then the comedy will work.
I think what I at least can take away from this is just living in that moment, living as your character and how they would react, and just having higher stakes and getting what you want.
Yeah, the neat thing about the show is you don't have to have ever seen any of the disaster movies from the 70s to enjoy the show, because it's an homage to all those movies, meaning we took what worked so great about those disaster movies,
the high stakes,
and used it in our show, adding all of this comedy and then telling the story through the medium of musical theater.
Your vocabulary as you talk to them is so nurturing and so encouraging, and you did such a lovely job, even when giving a constructive note, of saying, I love what you did with that, here's an alternative. And it just was beautiful, and it helps me as an educator hearing you guys talk to the students in such a wonderful, supportive way.
The first time you were kind of hesitant, and then you went like this. But this time, because you were so involved in the pain you were feeling, that you just went like this. And it was so exciting to see. So never be afraid to go for it, and also to make playing in the circumstances more important than just getting the staging right. There's no trick to putting on Disaster. It's the same as any other musical comedy. It's just keep returning to the text and what's happening to the characters. And when we reminded the kids, hey, behave as if it's really happening. And it just, as they said it to us, that they felt like it really came alive, and they were having even more fun because it started to feel real, because it is an exciting show for kids to do, because you get to be back in the 70s, you get to be on a casino boat having the time of your life, and then you get to go through a huge disaster and fight for your life and come out of it the other side.
Yeah. And every kid had such high stakes, and we just reminded them of the crazy high stakes they have. You know, the nun has to gamble, Chad has to get the feminists back. And when everyone was reminded of that, their performances just, they were amazing in the first place, but they just so went up another level. It was very fun to watch them change.
We were able to do it with effects and with costumes and things like that, but the quality of the writing and the quality of the songs is so exceptional that I really do believe you could do it on a bare stage with minimal props. I know how hard it is finding good shows. I've ordered lots of lousy scripts in my life, and Disaster is, without question, one of my favorite shows I've ever done, and one that every high school should do. Your students will have an absolute ball with it, I guarantee it.
Very in the moment. Very in the moment.